By the way, Sixtus, is it your turn to serve Lord Aints today? Foele asked, grinning, Yurei looking sharper than usual. Sixtus couldn't he help but smile too. How lucky. I wonder how many more days until my turn. Lumille started counting on her fingers. The chambers of the highest rulers of Nazarick were spacious. Cleaning a suite carefully on one's own would easily take half a day. Certainly, by the numbers, it was possible to clean them all every day. This included other rooms, like the spare one Albedo was using, but several people would have had to work full-time with no rest. Still, that wasn't a problem for them. They were created by members of Aints Ul Gaun, who ruled the great tomb of Nazarick. Working their hardest for them was only natural to them. It was quite literally serving the gods. But the godlike being Aints Ul Gaun stopped them from working like religious fanatics. He knew the pain of working for a tyrannical company, so he couldn't force that kind of lifestyle on what were basically his friends' daughters. He instructed them to clean unused rooms less frequently. He also broke them up into teams in order to give time off. And so Nazarick's maids were currently split into morning and evening teams. 30 were in the former group, and 10 in the latter. The one remaining person would take the day off. In other words, they got a day off only once every 41 days. Some of them complained about the arrangements. It wasn't that there were too few days off, they protested the opposite. The servants petitioned to get rid of vacation days. Their whole reason for existing was serving the supreme beings. When they didn't have to do anything, they lost their sense of self-worth. They felt the negative emotion that they needed. So they negotiated with Aints directly. Please don't take our work away. We want to work all day. Aints immediately rejected their appeals. Exhaustion existed in Yggdrasil. It could be cured with magic, but that didn't necessarily mean the same was possible in this world. Aints worried that even if he treated their fatigue with magic, their energy would slowly wear down. They would stop working efficiently. Their stubborn ruler wouldn't back off. So they had no choice but to accept his decision. Seeing them fight back their tears, he proposed a compromise. This position would answer to him directly. He declared the maids would take turns, one by one, waiting on him and helping him with all his work. To these girls, for whom serving the supreme beings was the greatest joy, this was like icing on their cake. They jumped at the opportunity with zero hesitation and accepted that on the day before serving him, they were to take a day off so they would be ready to serve him to the best of their ability. You need to eat all your nutrients and work hard. There's a good chance you'll have to work through a meal, you know. Of course, the one serving Aints needs to send a lot of nutrients to their brain. It makes you crave sweets. All three of them nodded. Incidentally, the maids carried supplemental meals high in sugar content. When they were working for Aints, they snacked on them whenever they found a spare moment. But if they were unlucky, or maybe, if they were lucky, they wouldn't have time. That was why it was so important to eat a big breakfast. Oh, did you hear? Apparently, they're going to start cooking with ingredients from the outside world. I heard they're having a tasting. Sixtus's friends gasped at this news. That's only natural, she thought. No maids had positive feelings for the world outside Nazarick. Some of them looked down on it, but the majority simply thought it was scary. Many remembered the raiders from the outside who penetrated all the way to the 8th level, the one above them. Can all the maids participate? It must be only some, right? As Sixtus was about to answer Foele's question, the atmosphere in the cafeteria suddenly changed. Something like a buzz of excitement went through the room. They followed the gazes of the other maids just as the cheers went up. Shizu, it's Shizu. One of the combat maids, Shizu, had just entered the cafeteria. The regular maids admired the combat maids as if they were pop idols, and Shizu was the most popular one. Competition for seats near her was fierce. Oh, and the penguin. She was carrying a penguin under her arm. A perplexed-looking male servant followed them. The assistant butler was struggling, but he was a level 1 birdman. He couldn't escape Shizu's tough grasp. As they watched, his frantic resistance devolved into powerlessness. Eventually, he gave up completely and went limp. He was like a live stuffed animal. Shizu, over here, let us eat together. No, please come over here, Shizu. Leave the assistant butler somewhere over there. Just throw him. Take that useless bird to the chef. Then he'll at least be able to contribute to Nazarick in some way. There was no helping the overt difference in reception between Shizu and the assistant butler. The Birdman had a habit of spouting blasphemy about how he wanted to rule Nazarick, so no one much cared for him. Even if the Supreme Beings made him that way, it was too hard to put up with his behavior when he was always talking like that. Hearing everyone shouting for her, Shizu glanced around the cafeteria. Many maids were touched by her childlike way of either searching for someone or contemplating where to sit. When Shizu is holding him, he looks kinda cute somehow. It is so weird. Maybe I'll make her a body pillow to hold instead. Mistress Albedo seems to know a lot about them. Maybe I can get her to teach me. Mistress Albedo is nice, so I bet she would. Why not try asking her? Shifting her gaze in response to the sound of a book snapping shut at the next table, Sixes caught in Clement standing up to leave. It got noisy in here, so I am going back. If you're serving Lord Aints today, I think you should hurry up and finish eating too so you can go. If you make a mistake, it'll reflect poorly on all of us. Having said her piece, Inclement walked away without waiting for a reply. Watching her go, Sixes checked the time on her pocket watch. She still had some leeway, but once she had eaten more and touched up her appearance, time would probably be running short. Okay. Let's go get seconds quickly while everyone is fighting over Shizu. Her friends agreed with her suggestion. Ooh, nice idea. The maids nearly jumped at the voice that came from right next to them. Lupus Regina. Sixes turned to the voice's owner, pressing both hands over her pounding chest. Just a moment ago, there had been no one. But in the brief time she'd been distracted by Shizu, Lupus Regina had appeared. She was sitting sideways on a chair with her legs crossed. A meal was neatly placed on the table in front of her. Don't surprise us like that, geez. Foele, with pathetic, pleading eyebrows, still clung to Lumiel. I thought my heart was going to pop out of my chest. Lumiel murmured in a daze. She didn't seem to have the wherewithal to be indifferent about Foele's embrace. The three of them reproved her, but their faces were smiling. Lupus Regina was the only combat maid who interacted with all of them on the level of friends. However, her patterns of activity were erratic. Since she changed groups each day, being approached by her could be considered a sign of good luck. This caused jealous looks from Sixes and her friends. Nai-hee-hee. It was worth experimenting in the village. Nice reactions, guys. Lupus Regina propped her head up on her hands and grinned like a cat from a storybook. It was a spiteful smile, but also strangely charming, which made it mysterious. Sixes admired it for a little while. The other two seemed to feel much the same, but Foele was the first to recover. The village. When she cocked her head, her short bob tickled Lumiel's face. With a look like she was holding back a sneeze, she shoved Foele away. Then she straightened up and faced Lupus Regina. Miss Lupus Regina, I did hear you working outside. Yup, I am working in a human village. A human village sounds difficult. Lumiel gave Lupus Regina a sympathetic look. Nah. Plus, I was ordered to do it by Lord Aints himself, so it's worth it to be honest, though it's pretty boring. If they would get overrun in an attack, that would be more fun. Sixes didn't think twice about the remark. What became of the human village wasn't any of her concern. It could flourish or go to ruin, as long as it was useful to Nazarick. Lord Aints says it has value, but I don't really know what it is. Knowing Lord Aints, perhaps he took pity on the worthless humans. No, Lord Aints is a gale force wind of death. Yes, probably just waiting for the right time to trample them. What are you saying? Lord Aints is a crystallization of wisdom. It must be part of a bigger plan. Hold up, can T let that pass? Might is Lord Aints' true forte? The four girls glared at one another, practically growling. Lord Aints is a kind, beautiful person. Lord Aints is death manifest in this world. Lord Aints is an unparalleled genius. Whoa, looks like we all have different ideas of what Lord Aints is like. In that case, a challenge who can give him the most fitting nickname. For a moment, silence. Lupus Regina was smiling as usual. She didn't seem to want to be left out when it came to divining Aints' true nature. This went for Sixes and her friends as well. Regular maids may have been weak level 1 beings, but they wouldn't back down when it came to respect and adoration of their master. You three can go first. Then Lumiel was the first to speak. As I said before, we need to exalt Lord Aints' beauty. So how about the ever-radiant Lord of most merciful love with the aesthetically glorious porcelain white visage? Next was Foele. If we were going to exalt Lord Aints, we need to emphasize his great power. Given that he is an overlord, it has to be memento mori, right? Sixes went third. Lord Aints was once the leader of the Supreme Beings, so he must have superior skills for running and maintaining an organization. I say the resourceful king. All the nicknames fit their master. But they all still felt that their own choice fit him best. Sixus, then Foele and Lumiel all focused on the last person. Her turn had come around. Lupus Regina cleared her throat. Ahem, she said with a smug grin. It's gotta be the absolute strongest in so that S where you were, a soft voice said. It was Shizu. Claire, the assistant butler, must have gone somewhere, because he wasn't T under her arm anymore. Please don't T go completely invisible all the time. Sorry, guess it's just a habit now. And you started eating without me. Anger, like a haze of heat, showed through beneath Shizu's barely changing expression. Sixus realized it could be risky to stick around any longer. Oh, I have to get going to Lord Aints' then I'll head out too. I'll walk with you partway. Sixus and her friends quietly stood, pretending not to notice Lupus Regina's glances pleading for help. In the end, Sixus missed out on seconds. She had many regrets about that, but she had to compose herself. Clearing her mind of the precarious atmosphere behind her, she slapped her cheeks to steel herself. Her face was that of a brave warrior heading to battle, but she walked forward with light steps. 9:20 a.m. Nazarick time. The 6th level of the Great Tomb of Nazarick boasted the largest area of any in the Great Tomb. This zone was protected not by typical undead, but by monsters that wouldn't usually spawn there, like Aura's magical beasts. Most of it was covered in a thickly growing forest, making Sea of Trees an apt description. But the enthusiastic members of the once extant guild Aints Ul Gown were NT satisfied with simply painting the place green. There was an arena, a giant tree, ruins of a settlement swallowed by the forest, a lake, a poisonous den, gnarled trees, mangroves, a bottomless swamp, and more. It was designed with diversity. Recently, they had even built a small village to welcome new residents. In the center of this sea of trees, with its many highlights, was a big body of water, although not as big as the underground lake zone on level 4, and it was surrounded by grass, not trees. The meadow and the lake were only a tiny part of the 6th level, but it was big enough for the girls to do what they came for. One of the girls was a guardian of the level aura. She looked impressive on the back of her giant jet black wolf. She seemed right at home. Of course she did. She had extraordinary physical ability. She could easily run to patrol the vast grounds, but she preferred riding her magical beasts. There were 2 other girls. One was captain of the Guardians, Albedo. Instead of her usual white dress, she was wearing her black full-plate armor, but she had no weapon or shield. The other was Shaltia. Nothing about her was different from usual. There was a strange look in her eyes. It seemed like she was highly engaged or having fun. Okay, here I go. Come to me, Mount. Albedo used the skill summon Mount. A magical beast the same color as her armor wavered into sight. It appeared where there had been nothing. The beast had a white mane and tail. It resembled a horse. He wore equestrian full-plate armor and was fitted with a saddle and reins. His body was slightly smaller than a horse's, but he had a much more powerful air about him. The most obvious difference was his head, which had 2 horns jutting out to the front. Aura was the first to react to the mount that appeared. She had the most detailed magical beast knowledge of anyone present. Wow, he's different from a normal bighorn. Those horns are magnificent, and his body's really toned. Albedo emitted a proud laugh. That's right. His strength matches my level. He should probably be called a war bighorn lord. Though actually he's a level 100 bighorn. Can he fly? No, that's impossible. His abilities aren't so different from a normal bighorn as he doesn't have extra skills, just boosted health, muscular strength, and agility. I guess you can power up mounts without rider skills, huh? So if we participate in a level 100 battle, our mount's skills will be weak, and we'll just be in the way. Yes, but I can protect him with my skills, so we can go the distance in battle. But then do you not have to split your resources? I dare say that is a lot of wasted energy during combat. What about equipping different gear to strengthen him? I've heard that mount monsters can equip things similar to armor and horseshoes. Yes, some summoned beasts can equip gear. For example, and this is related to Aura's earlier question, if I equipped him with horseshoes that included a flying ability, then he would probably be able to fly. But I already have him equipped with an item to boost his speed, so I can really. Albedo gave the magical beast beside her a pat. Perhaps she hit him too hard. He staggered. Amount she summoned shouldn't he have staggered from a little tap like that. Albedo furrowed her brow, wondering if he didn't like her or something else was wrong, when Aura jumped in with a question. So what's his name? He-s a bicorn. Didn't you just say that? No, not his racial name, his own name. Does he need one? Albedo looked at the vampire for her opinion, but she just shrugged. Pretty sure he does. He-s like your pet. He-s not really my pet, is a summoned beast, even the same one every time. Sholtia chimed in with what she thought was a great idea. Why not ask the Prince of Fear? He excels at summoning his brethren, so he must be well versed in the details. I'll pass. I mean, he is a member of Nazarick, and it's not like I hate him, but I just yeah. I know he doesn't mean any harm, but they kinda come in through the gaps in your clothes, I think in Toma goes sometimes, but disgusting. Please spare me this talk of skin crawling matters. That room is truly a fearful place. It may be on one of my levels, but I definitely have no interest in going. Sholtia, did you know that Entoma calls it the snack room? Eek, really? Are you serious? I can't go anywhere near her now. Albedo agreed. Who would want to go near someone who declared those things snacks? The atmosphere had gotten a little strange when Aura, perhaps to change the subject, raised her voice slightly. So getting back to what we were talking about, you're not going to give him a name. Well, if you think I should, then maybe I will. Albedo mumbled to herself as she became absorbed in thought. If she was going to give him a name, she wanted to make sure it wasn't too embarrassing. She considered many words and letters. Then, a song echoed through her head. What are you mumbling about? Albedo asked. Oh, sorry, she answered, as if waking from a dream. If Aints will allow it, I'll give him a name that is dear to me, top of the world. That is a nice name. Is that a reference to Lord Aints? Albedo didn't feel like answering, so she just smiled. Sholtia's eyebrows tilted to a dangerous angle. They were always like this. The atmosphere turned volatile, and Aura intervened. Well, that is fine. You summoned the bicorn, so how about we move on to the next experiment? Sure, okay. Sholtia scowled upon being ignored as Albedo turned back to face her bicorn and stepped into a stirrup. She mounted him with movements so nimble it was hard to believe she was wearing armor. The moment she let her weight rest in the saddle, she felt the bicorn tremble. What's wrong? Albedo shouted in a panic. She had no idea why her level 100 bicorn would be stumbling like that. She remembered how he had reacted when she had patted him moments ago. Had something been wrong since then? What caused it? Aura, Sholtia, something's wrong with my bicorn. Can you come take a look? By that time, the bicorn had started staggering as if he couldn't stay upright any longer. The other two could see clearly that something wasn't right. For now, hurry up and get off him, Albedo. Okay. The thought finally occurred to Albedo when Aura suggested it, and she dismounted. The unstable bicorn collapsed on the spot. He was breathing hard and covered in sweat. Albedo, did you gain weight? Sholtia wasn't asking entirely out of malice. There wasn't really any other way to interpret what she had just seen. How rude. I am within a suitable weight range, taking into account extra muscle. Is he weak, because you don't ride him regularly? Mine I keep loose and have them patrol the 6th level pretty frequently. He shouldn't I thought a mount was just like any summoned monster. So why would he be weak? Should I try to ride him? Unfortunately, you can this is my mount. No one else can ride him. If you try to force your way onto him, he'll be sent back. Then maybe we should ask him. Hey bicorn, what happened? Aura asked. She didn't have a special ability to talk to horses. Bicorns were fairly intelligent magical beasts, so she was probably banking on that. But the bicorn couldn't talk, he only neighed. If he can talk, I bet he can write. Either the bicorn neighed as if confirming her hunch. The three girls looked at one another. Aura, can you do some amazing thing with your power? No. What's some amazing thing anyhow? You interviewed us all a while back, so you know the full extent of my powers. Did the head guardian forget something so simple? How do you usually communicate with Fenrir? Just like normal. Do this, do that, with words then. So if you made a concerted effort, perhaps you could do the same with this bicorn. Just because I can communicate with the beasts I control doesn't mean I can communicate with all of them. Actually, I've already tried. For example, the lizard men have Rororo, right? I tried with him, and I just couldn't connect. The three girls looked at one another. Demiurge is good to call if you ray in a pinch. Unfortunately, Demiurge is working outside Nazarick on orders from Lord Aints. He is so busy it is rarer to find him here. I could contact him, but honestly, I don't want to consult him about things that aren't work related. Jealousy showed up in Shaltia S. and Aura S. eyes. Demiurge, running around being useful to their master, was the envy of all. Ah, I am so jealous. I know protecting Nazarick is an important duty, but unless there are raiders, I've got nothing to show for it, so I always wonder if I am really being useful or not.